Yeah, but I want one that's belt fed. 249 and 12 gauge.
So we got full auto 12 is available. Semi-automatic's been out a long time. Pump. Now we got mag fed. You're saying we need
belt fed.
We need a belt fed. I don't.
Are we live? We're live. All right. Welcome back to Live at the Range with John and Ron. So, Ron's sitting here playing with the Remington 870 mag fed.
TAC 14.
TAC 14 version. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a nice little gun. So.
See if I can
love the mag fed.
it.
Disassemble it. Do you need me to tell you how to operate?
I might need some instruction.
Need a class. So.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it either. So. And they're not super expensive.
No, heck no. That's brand new. So they've been making the TAC 14 for a while. They've introduced that mag fed line.
And then they
married them. So man.
So interesting fact.
Can I put
how
that
many
in a
870s have been produced in all the different variants?
12 million.
Over 21 million.
I missed it by a little bit. Missed it by that much? I'm dyslexic. Yeah, nice.
Over 21 million. So.
That's cool.
Oh,
Sam,
yeah.
you know what to do with this, right?
Throw it in the garbage.
Put it in my office. Is that what you
Bite
said?
your tongue, girl.
Shotgun, it's hideous.
It's hideous.
Oh, stop. we still have to sell it.
Part of the appeal of it. So.
I'm gonna sell it to you.
All right, Ron. Let's get started because we're on a time clock.
Welcome back.
So, well, thank you.
I don't know where you've
guys
been.
filling in. So,
But yeah,
been playing golf.
we have to. Anybody knows John knows that is not what he's been up to. Did you have a good time with your boy back from the Corps for
yeah.
about a week?
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Anything happened with him while he was back?
besides him whipping my butt, that's about it. So,
I wish. So John, I won't tell on you, was gone for 2 days because his son put him
broke
in a headlock.
me. Yeah. So,
Broke him. Now, 2 years ago, you would have thought, no,
never going to happen.
That's never
So,
going to
yeah,
happen.
He's a different man. So.
Yep. Well, you said it. He's a man. He's a man.
I
Yep.
like how Ron leaves out what your son did to him.
So,
No, that doesn't count.
it's not important.
He did that when I was gone, when I'm not around, because he's afraid of me. So if you're watching this,
So we're going to leave out the fact that he shrink wrapped your desk.
He did. He shrink
and
wrapped
covered
my
it
desk.
in
Silly string.
Yeah. So yeah.
typical Marine.
So well, that was last time. What was it? Sticky notes.
Sticky notes covered
Yeah.
everything in sticky notes. I think he's got a man crush on
About $50 worth of sticky notes. So.
Yeah. First of all, I know we're a day late, but we're certainly not $1 short. But certainly want to remember September 11th and everything that's happened to us as a country since then, and the men and women who continue to this day to serve and to sacrifice. I will be honest with you, I was very disappointed in the lack of attention that it got, in my opinion, in the media.
Oh yeah.
It's been 17 years now.
It doesn't fit their narrative.
It's a very, very sad state. 17 years ago, 3,000 people lost their lives.
Over 3,000 Americans. You know, there were over 400 non-Americans
Yeah.
that were killed in the towers and on
Yeah.
the plane as well. So,
Yep.
I mean,
And
it's
why
just-
we're not showing that video every day,
Yeah.
when every time anybody says we're not nice enough to one another, or we're not.
And it's not like it's gone because we deal with it every day. It's terrorism and all the people that are affected by that. The wives, the parents, the children that lost people that day. I mean, that's still to this day. That's one of the reasons, not to get into politics, why I was so upset with Nike in their choice of sacrifice and hero in that ad. And there's so many other just blatantly obvious choices.
Blatantly obvious.
You know, and
pick
so,
any Medal of Honor winner
Yeah.
that we've had since.
Pick the guy who doesn't have 4 limbs because he lost 1, 2, some cases 3 over in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yep,
I mean,
that's
there's
exactly
so
right.
many better choices of people who have sacrificed.
Yep.
So anyway, let's go on. We can talk about that for half an hour. So.
Now I'm in a good mood.
Well, speaking of people who have sacrificed, we had an event this weekend.
Yeah.
That was designed to help them. So tell us how all that went.
So thank you to everybody who came out and supported Extreme Couture GI Foundation over the weekend. We raised a lot of money that's going to go directly to a wounded soldier or a wounded veteran and their family. Randy Couture, what a fantastic guy. He just a great guy. I mean, you couldn't. I kept waiting for him to snap and choke somebody out because everybody wanted a picture with him.
I figured you would have volunteered just to say, yeah, I got choked out by Randy Couture. So.
Well, Jason did do that. Jason actually got a picture of himself getting choked out by Randy. Jason Gibbs did, one of our instructors.
That's
and
funny.
everybody that he's associated with, top of the line, top notch people. My son, we used to fight with a bunch of our folks here with
Sam,
Randy.
you went to that, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a blast.
It was a
Thoroughly
really
enjoyed
good
it.
time. My son got a lot of social media currency with all of his buddies for the picture he had with Randy, and
Good.
super cool deal. But the most important thing that happened there is we helped a soldier. And in fact, we're already talking to them about coming back next year. We're going to do it bigger and better. The Couture Foundation, the Extreme Couture GI Foundation, wants to make a $10,000 donation to a wounded soldier so they can get all the help that they need. So that, and we have a goal of helping 3 soldiers next year get that donation. So put it on your calendars. It'll be early August. You definitely going to be a part of it. It's going to be a big deal.
All right.
What
And
else?
to continue that same thing, this month is Salute to the Brave.
And we did that
So-
because of September 11th.
Yep.
We
So
want to salute those.
every week this month, we are honoring a different type of first responder. So this week it's fire and rescue.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so everything that, if you come in, $10 donation, we will give you a free range challenge coin. Do you have that? Free range challenge coin.
Watch this. Watch this. Do you owe me anything?
I owe you a beer. So, all right.
I'll ever get that.
Oh, you'll get it in spades. So,
You want to borrow mine?
so
Yeah,
no,
too late.
too late. So that's the front side there. It's got the first responders, EMS, fire, police, as well as all the services around it. And the back side is the range logo. And we had these made up. We're giving away for free. We just asked for a $10 donation.
Yep.
Minimum $10 donation.
Yeah, if you want to
right?
add 3 or 4 zeros to the back of that, we're totally good with that.
Absolutely.
But
And then all firefighters shoot free this week.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so this week is fire and rescue, and everything goes to the Muddy River Fools charity. And then Sam.
Next week, I think, is EMS, and the
Next
last.
EMS still goes to my
Yep.
schools.
Yep.
Yep.
And then
Medical.
Veterans or Camp for Hope.
Yep.
So
Yep.
next week is Camp Rope. First week was police. So
Yep.
So come in, donate,
Hunt for justice.
take the range coin with you, and help support our first responders.
Yeah,
So,
and then drop that range coin on us when you see us out and about. 'Cause
So
I
it-
will, but I'll warn you, I will have mine.
So-
Just warning you.
if we don't have it, we'll give you a free range pass. So.
I like it.
I just have to say how much we appreciate you guys and gals supporting things like Randy Couture, like the Salute to the Brave. Every time we do something to help support somebody like we did for Officer Flamey and so forth, I mean, just you guys are always there to help support that, and we're just very grateful to have the members and the clients and customers that we have. So we're very grateful. Thank you very much.
Second Amendment people are the best people.
Absolutely.
Period. Period.
So to help reward you guys,
yeah.
we do a mob every month, and this mob is.
The members only bunker bonus this month is we will clean free of charge 2 modern firearms of your choice. If you want, if you don't have any, if you're a member and don't have any guns, why are you a member? That wouldn't happen. I was going to say I can get mine cleaned.
So.
But for all of our members, bring in 2 modern firearms. Don't bring us a blunderbuss or a flintlock something.
You
That
can,
doesn't-
it's just we're not necessarily
Yeah.
going to be able to do that one for free. There might be a moderate charge for that.
Don't
but
bring us a 19. Yeah,
you
if you
feel
bring
free
us
to
a-
bring us your Ruger Mark II or Mark III.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be happy to clean it. Not me personally, but
Yeah, we're gonna put-
Rich will be happy to clean it.
But,
and by happy, I don't really mean happy, but he'll still do a great
It'll
job
happen.
at it.
That's,
so.
you know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to bring. Do the employees get that? So anyway, just bring them in. You get 2 guns cleaned free of charge. $70 value, just because you're a member here. We just want to say thank you. So,
Yep.
and that just goes through the end of the month. So hey, there's just always cool stuff going on. Make sure that you're keeping up with our website. You're following us on Facebook, on Instagram. Classes. You know, we believe in training. Training trumps tools. We've said it time and time again. I'll take a Marine Recon guy with a .22 revolver versus some mall ninja with the newest and greatest AR-15 any day of the week, just because they know what they're doing and they've trained and practiced. So, training, and and just another thing. make sure you're signed up as part of our mailing list, because we're going to start doing some flash sales that you're not going to want to miss coming up in the next few weeks. Special purchase items that are going to be very limited availability. There'll be guns, it'll be gear, it'll be optics, it'll be ammo,
It'll be
different
training.
stuff all the time. It'll be training, so you're going to want to be able to take advantage of that stuff.
And we've started working on training courses for next year, so we're going to be adding multiple courses next year, higher level courses. Phil's working on all that. So we're going to have, how many, Phil? 6 to 10 different courses added
More courses.
between now and next year?
Yeah.
Hopefully
So-
that many, probably at least that many.
So
At least.
it's going to push the course offerings up to about 40 different courses. So that's
Yep.
and that's because of you guys and you guys asking for it and asking what is next. So we're consulting with the experts and coming up with the best curriculum to take it to the next level. So
Yep.
that'll be also announced on Facebook and website and et cetera. So
Yep.
all right, in the news.
So I wanted to start with, you've seen it in the news, but gun store robberies are up.
Yep.
Not just in Missouri. Don't think this is just a St. Louis area thing. This is across the country. And so I'm thinking, well, why are they robbing gun stores more and more? Because they can just go online and buy a gun. They don't have to have a background check or anything done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So why are they stealing guns? They can go buy one for cheap on the internet illegally. Is that right? Isn't that right?
That's what the new media would have you believe.
It's not
so.
right. Gun thefts are up because it's harder for them to get it, because people like us, and contrary to what some of our politicians want you to think, you can't just go buy a gun somewhere.
That's right. You gotta do a background check.
So that's my opinion. I think that's one of the big reasons that thefts in stores are up, that they're not able to get a hold of them like they used to, because we're doing the right things. So
Absolutely. And interesting fact, even police, even federal law enforcement agents, when they buy a private, a gun to own personally, they still do a background check.
yeah. An ATF agent could come in here and want to buy a gun, and guess what?
He has to do a
Background check.
So,
We don't care, right?
absolutely. All right.
Some stuff going on locally that folks really need to be aware of. There was another carjacking. This one, the gentleman lost his life in Carondelet. I think it just happened last night, 10 o'clock last night. Was carjacked, shot and killed this poor guy, and his car was found literally like 6 blocks away from where it took place. So, again, please be careful. Please be careful.
Absolutely.
And then a teen in, I think, Central West End was just sitting in his car. Guy walked up, opened the door, got in the car, pointed a gun at him, said, "Take me to an ATM and give me some money." And they've got this guy on video. I'm sure they'll catch him pretty quick. But keep your car doors locked.
I tell you what.
Don't stay in your
if I-
phone.
He's
when I-
already been caught.
They caught him? Good.
caught him?
He's the guy that I believe.
Oh, they suspected him in some other stuff.
Yeah, shooting and killing somebody at Walmart.
That's right, the Walmart, yeah.
South County.
When I get in the car, I lock the doors. It doesn't matter if I'm going
You have
to
to.
sit there or what I'm
Yeah.
doing. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
and I get it that when I'm waiting on my wife, I got emails that I can answer, I got news that I can read.
Still gotta be
You
paying attention.
Still got to be paying attention, but keep those doors closed, keep them locked,
Yeah.
right? And then the one that I wanted to spend a little bit of time on, we still don't know everything that happened, but in my opinion, still revolves a little bit around locked doors. Is this Dallas police officer that went into the wrong apartment, thought she was going into her own apartment.
that's the one that parked on the 4th instead of the 3rd. Yeah.
So the story is, she finished a 15-hour shift, came home, parked on the 4th story of the parking garage instead of the 3rd. She lives on the 3rd floor. So when she exited the parking garage, she thought she was going to her apartment. It wasn't. It was one of those cookie cutter apartment places that we've all lived in or been around. The door was not locked. When she put her key in, the door wasn't locked. She opened the door and there was a man inside. So she thought that there was an intruder in her apartment. Statements from her say she gave him voice commands that he didn't respond to. She ended up shooting and killing this guy. And he was in his own apartment. She opened the wrong door.
Yeah.
Bad
Sounds like
deal.
there's just more there than.
I agree, there's more there, but I'm going to come back and I watched 3 videos this morning of people being burglarized or home invasions taking place because they didn't lock their doors. The doors have to be locked. we've got a dog that goes in and out of the house more than any kid I ever raised, right? But the door stays locked. The dog goes out, the dog comes in, the doors are locked. And, you know, and there's another thing to be said there. I carry my firearm at home all the time. I've always, because everything I love is in my house. Is it the safest place I can be? I think it is. But part of that's because I'm not going to let somebody make me a victim.
That's right.
Right?
So.
Please lock your doors. Don't ever stop being vigilant. Now, I'm not telling you to be afraid all the time and sleep with the lights on or one eye open, but you have to do the right things. Okay?
All right, so one of the questions we get all the time, and we've gotten just tons over the past couple of years, especially from people who are new to the industry, is what's the difference between FMJ and JHP? And what do those things mean? So,
yep. And why do I need?
Yeah. So
one
obviously
versus
FMJ is
the
full
other?
metal jacket, and JHP is jacketed hollow point.
Right.
So, and they do serve different purposes.
Absolutely.
So.
And you know, anytime when somebody gets a firearm from us, we always ask them, you know, do you need some practice ammo and some defensive ammo? And surprisingly, at least half the time, people just don't understand the difference between the two. Full metal jacket being practice ammo, jacketed hollow point being defensive ammo. They both have pluses, they both have minuses in their application. And I thought it would be good to take 10 minutes and just maybe talk about that. And I thought that would be good to talk with you about because you are the engineer. You're the one with the big brain in the group. So
I'm also the good looking one, so.
You're the one with the big brain in the group. So we can figure out, help folks understand why they need both.
Right.
There isn't, and so why don't I think we just maybe talk about full metal jacket first and what are the positives with it. So what do you see as a positive about full metal jacket ammo?
So full metal jacket ammo is, number one, generally less expensive. The bullet itself is much less expensive to manufacture. It's just basically a lead slug, swatched inside of a copper jacket, and a lot of times they'll close up the copper on the rear of the bullet. Sometimes they leave it open. Either way, it's still called a full metal jacket, and it typically will stay together, it will not deform as much, and it will penetrate more into an intended target. So, it does not have more energy in the same weight at the same velocity. Energy is just a function of mass and velocity, but the way it interacts with the target is different. So, and it's a lot less expensive to manufacture, therefore it's less expensive to shoot.
Yeah, and it has greater, it's less expensive to shoot, it has greater penetrating factors. I think it's obviously.
But that penetration is a good and bad thing.
It is. It has
so if I'm having to shoot
sides.
through something,
car doors,
to the bad guy, then yes,
walls.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
But use 9mm for example, because for years there was a raging debate over 9mm would over penetrate. And 9mm typically in a normal size human being, adult human being, unless it hits a bone structure. Full metal jacket is typically going to exit the body with some significant velocity. Which means severely reduced, but there still be some velocity.
Which means there's still a danger to anybody else or anything else that's behind.
It is possible. I can't think of a time off the top of my head where there's a known thing where that was the issue and it over penetrated and then killed someone.
Right.
But it is something that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because of the bullet design, it maintains. It's not very good at transferring its energy.
Correct. It's going to have a smaller wound channel because it's not going to deform, and it's going to have a smaller surface area. It sort of stays in that cone-shaped, depending upon what
you can get some tumbling depending on the depth of the target.
Just depends on
right.
Yeah.
But a full metal jacket is inexpensive to shoot, has good penetration, better penetration than a jacketed hollow point. But the downside is it doesn't transfer energy and it
doesn't
overpenetrates.
deliver all of the bullet's energy to the target typically.
So from a defensive standpoint, the goal is to take the energy in the round and put it in the target.
Absolutely, because we're trying to stop the bad guy.
In fact, I think Phil has a video of, we're going to show two videos, but we're going to do them one at a time. Do you have the video for the full metal jacket in the ballistic gel so they can kind of see that, what we're talking about?
All right, so you can see from that video, and the wound channel that's created is relatively
I still
small.
don't want to get shot with
So-
it. I'm just going to say that up front.
Let's cover that right now, right?
Okay.
Because typically, if you shoot somebody with a 115 grain 9mm round, they're typically going to stop what they're doing, not necessarily because you've inflicted enough physical damage, but there's a psychological factor associated with being shot.
Right.
You know, so typically, they're going to, oh my goodness, other colorful words, I've been shot, and that causes mental pause, and a lot of times it will completely change course of action. They'll typically tend to retreat and so forth. Not always true. They can be enraged, and there are plenty of examples of that
Yeah,
happening.
absolutely.
Okay, but there's also examples of that happening with hollow points. So.
Yep.
But yeah, so smaller wound channel. You saw. I don't know if you could see it, but the round actually exits the ballistic gel, and the wound channel that's left is relatively small.
Right.
So.
There is a little bit of cavitation. You can see at the end that the bullet starts
to tumble
a
a little
little bit, which helps to transfer energy, but it maintained a lot of its energy. That's why it was able to exit the gelatin.
So with jacketed hollow point, typically you're going to increase the surface area of the bullet by anywhere from 30 to as much as 100% of its original size. As it opens up, it can also fragment, cause secondary wound channel and so forth. And the energy delivery is just going to leave a much larger wound channel because you're now running, as soon as it opens up, you're running a blunt object through the tissue versus a pointed object. So obviously that more force is required, so more of that energy gets delivered to that target. So typically a jacketed hollow point, even if it doesn't hit a major structure, major bone, it's typically not going to overpenetrate. If it does exit, it's typically going to leave a pretty good size exit hole, and it's going to have very little energy on the backside.
Well, I don't think a lot of people understand that it's not the hole, the physical hole that it makes, that really causes the most damage, unless you directly strike a vital organ. It's the cavitation, or that transfer of energy, that wave of energy that enters the tissue, that causes a lot and can cause a lot of damage.
Let's do the video. Roll the next video.
Show the video. This is
Watch
a jacketed
how
hollow
much
point.
larger the temporary wound cavity is.
You know what's interesting is you can actually see in the cavitation the rifling of the round. Did you notice that?
So you saw how much bigger that cavity was, and you saw the twist as the bullet's actually twisting through, because as the hollow point opened up into petals, it's caused that motion.
It went from this to this.
So again, much bigger wound channel. So obviously it's delivering more energy. Now that particular video, it did actually exit, and that's not uncommon again, but it did exit much slower with much less energy left over.
Right.
So now the drawback is if you're shooting through something, it's going to expend a lot of energy getting through its initial target. It can significantly change the trajectory of it. So hollow points, typically windshields, significantly change the direction of the bullet and so forth. So there are lots of drawbacks to a hollow point if you're having to shoot through something at the bad guy.
So what's our recommendation?
Well, I mean, self-defense, you need a good quality bonded jacketed hollow point, you know, a SIG-V crown, a
Critical defense,
a
critical duty,
hydroshocks,
stuff
like that. I mean, there's dozens of good rounds out there, and there's so much competition in that market now. They're constantly trying to make it better and improve it. So it's just like in handguns. It's hard to make a bad choice if you buy a quality name brand product. So that's what you want for self-defense. You want to practice with FMJs, or what's sometimes called range ammo, and because it's just less expensive, the gun's going to more or less perform the same. The recoil's going to be the same, provided that you're using the same weight of round with the same type of energy in the round, and you can compare that on the box most times. But even with some weight differences, some energy differences, in most modern handguns, it's not going to be a significant difference to you in how you shoot. You can get a really hot, heavy round, 147 9mm that's moving really fast. You can tell when you shot that's a little more oomph than a 115 grain round, but generally you're not going to notice that much difference. And here's something that a lot of people don't do. They will buy a gun, they'll shoot range ammo through it, they'll break it in 300-400 rounds, great, and then they'll load it with hollow points, put it in safe. you need to shoot, 4 or 5 rounds of whatever your defensive ammo is through your gun, just to make sure that that particular gun, that individual gun, likes that individual round. Because you don't want to find out in that critical
gunfight.
moment that your gun doesn't like, it likes everything but that one, right?
Right.
So, an example of this, there's some small carry 9s, so that they come with instructions that say you must use 135 grain or 147 grain 9mm with this gun, or the gun does not function properly. And that's a function of all the dynamics going on with the slide and you using it and all these different forces that have to happen for the gun to cycle. It's a very complicated process that happens in a fraction of a second. So you need to make sure, even if you buy a full-size handgun, always put 4 or 5 rounds of your defensive ammo through it to make sure it likes it.
And if you're carrying a gun every day, every 3 or 4 months, you need to cycle through that ammo anyway.
The
You're
most you
exposing
should
it.
keep that ammo for, the most, is a year.
Yeah.
And if you can put yourself a note when you change the batteries in your smoke detector, change the batteries in your gun safe if you have an electronic one, and swap out your carry ammo.
And shoot it.
Yep.
Shoot. I mean, there's no reason to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
It's still shootable ammo, and
Yep.
make sure
yeah,
your
you
gun
just
likes
shoot it next time you're at the range.
Yep, absolutely. I like it. We didn't even talk about like plus P and plus P plus.
And that's a whole other thing to do. So. All right. You showed me that one video though. I got it. Phil,
I
wish
wish
video?
I wish
You
I had
have
not
that to
watched
show?
that video.
Okay.
Don't put that up.
So there's stuff of young kids, I say kids, 20, 25 years old, playing Russian roulette with revolvers at each other's feet. And we actually watched a video where a guy actually shoots a guy. It's insane. So violating all these guys should not be allowed near a gun. Do not do that. So it's not
If
like
we have
it's
to
not
tell
like it's not like you're going to slap a Band-Aid on it and be good. Your foot is never the same. You never point a gun at anything anybody you're not willing to destroy. You do not play with it. It's not a toy. It's a tool.
If we have to tell you not to play Russian roulette with a revolver, you're probably
That's just-
watching the wrong show.
Yeah, it's insane. So, and it's hard to watch. So it's just.
You have to learn to be that stupid, don't you? I mean, you can't. You don't wake up.
There's a
stupid,
course
do you?
for that, is it?
Well, aren't
Stupid
we
101,
born with
so-
the innate instinct to protect
Self-preservation.
ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know.
I think that's a learned stupidity thing. Speaking of a learned stupidity thing,
You got
you want to hear my rant?
Go ahead.
I want to know where they're finding these professors that are teaching our kids at these universities and why they have jobs.
Okay. You got
So-
something specific?
There might be a professor, longtime professor, at a university in Nevada who shot himself in the arm on campus to protest President Trump. I hate the president so much I'm going to shoot myself
You
in the
can't
arm.
make this stuff up. What's his point?
Hey, stupid. I don't get that. And to beat all, he did it on campus, and so not only did he shoot himself in the arm, he got arrested for illegally owning a firearm, carrying a firearm without a license, having a
Discharging
firearm on school
firearm.
property. Oh my gosh!
Well, he should have got arrested.
And he's teaching.
Does he still have a job?
But yeah, they said he's still employed there.
You would think the university's like, you know what, we're done. So
So somebody please explain to me how these people are so smart they can teach our kids, but they're that stupid.
that's insane.
Write me a letter. Challenge me on that. I mean,
There is a difference between intelligence and common sense.
yeah, it's,
Common sense is lacking.
Oh my goodness.
I just that kind of stuff. Having kids that are going to school and hey, Phil, good luck
Yeah.
in 10 years. Because if it's this bad now, oh my goodness. Somebody tell me I'm wrong.
So, you're not wrong.
Okay.
Not about this.
No.
I mean, most of the time, yes, but this, you're
Please.
good. So.
Yeah.
All right, hero. So I've actually got 2 groups of people. Yesterday was 9/11. We talked about that
Yes, sir.
early on. And so the first group is those first responders that ran into those towers and, every day run into a situation that they know could potentially be fatal to themselves because they're there to help save someone else.
They're running towards it.
Right.
Yep.
And so absolutely. And then the other one is the group of passengers on the flight in Pennsylvania on 9/11 that realized through the cell phones what was going on and decided, you know what, we're not letting that happen to this one, and basically went to take over the plane.
Yep.
And guy who sort of led that, his name escapes me at the moment. I don't know, Phil, if you remember it, but the book that was out, his widow wrote a movie called Let's Roll, which is motto for the I forget in the Army. It's the Armored Division or something. It's a motto. Their motto is Let's Roll, and and him and some other folks said, we're not going to let that happen, and they realized that they were going to get crashed into a building too, and they saved, I believe, that one they thought was headed for the White House at that time. So they saved no telling how many people from whatever would have happened, because the bad guys realized they were losing the aircraft, and they did it nose down into that field in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So that's my two groups of heroes. We can never do enough to repay those folks, or the folks, their relatives, and the folks that are affected by those losses. So makes me proud to be an American, to know that those people are out there every day.
Amen, brother. Amen.
That's it. That's going to wrap it up. We'll be back next week. So
well, somebody will be back next week.
Somebody will be back. You're not here next week?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Am I?
So I don't know. We'll have to ask Sam. So.
Oh, Sam's in church. Sam's gone next week.
Sam will be here next week. So
Sam will be recovering from
somebody authorized her to take vacation. I don't know who that was, but we're going to find that out.
Beachaholic.
5 days.
Yeah, we'll probably get some stuff done.
Just not as much as when she's here. So, all right, check us out on Facebook. Come by and see us, 14803 Manchester Road. Call us 636-220-1300. Come in, get your challenge coin, make a donation for our first responders.
Please.
And just let us know what we can do better. You can email comments, concerns, suggestions to phil@therangestl.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
You ready?
I'm ready.